What's up guys, my name is Brandon and Apple released iOS 12.1.2 today after just one beta which came out last week. I made a couple videos on it if you missed those. So in this video, we're going to be going over everything new in this latest software release. It is a small one, and I'm also going to let you know whether or not you should upgrade from 12.1.1 or any previous version. And we're also going to discuss the battery life and the performance since I have been using this in the beta form on my daily driver, my iPhone XS Max. So we're going to discuss that near the end of this video. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about 12.1.2. So you can see here, the update came in at 99.3 megabytes on my iPhone XR, which did come from iOS 12.1.1. And also keep in mind that if you were on the beta of 12.1.2, you will not see this update. It will not come across as an update just because it's going to be the exact same as the beta build. So you're not really missing out on much. I mean, the build number has changed, so you can manually downgrade and then upgrade again. It's 12.1.2, but you will have to delete your beta profile. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, a super small update. Let's just go ahead and look at the build number real quick. So if we go to settings, general, about, you can see the build number there, 16C101. And if we go back to the update page, you can see here there are two main bug fixes in iOS 12.1.2. So you can see it says fixes bugs with eSIM activation for iPhone XR, XS, and XS Max. So it seems like the last two updates have really focused on eSIM and trying to get that all figured out. Of course, since it is a new technology for the iPhone, there are going to be some bugs as well. So they fixed that up there with 12.1.2. And the next thing you can see addresses an issue that could affect cellular connectivity in Turkey for iPhone XR, XS, and XS Max. So yeah, obviously two very minor bug fixes that most people are not really going to care about unless of course you do live in Turkey. But if it's just these two things, most of you guys are not really going to be interested in upgrading from something like 12.1.1. And if you guys watched my last video, you know I talked about a brand new feature on the iPhone XR. So if you go to general, accessibility, and then scroll down till you see haptic touch, and we have a whole new menu now where you can actually change the touch duration of haptic touch. Now in that video I made last week, I did mention that this is a brand new feature in iOS 12.1.2. Well, come to find out, it actually was introduced in 12.1.1. It was just an overlooked feature that pretty much nobody covered, and I just found it in 12.1.2, and I didn't see anybody else on YouTube even talking about this feature. So it was very overlooked, but this was in 12.1.1 as well, so I did just want to correct myself from that video last week. But it is a really cool feature because I did change it from fast to slow, and it did make a difference. I don't accidentally haptic touch on buttons as much as I did in the past. Now in that video, I also talked about the cell signal and how it has improved on my daily driver here, my iPhone XS Max. So I did just want to give you guys an update on how that's been going since it has been, a full week now since I've been using 12.1.1 on my daily driver. And I will say that the cell signal has definitely improved, but it's just very slightly, and it's not everywhere. I think it may just be in my office or something. I mean, right now I only have one bar, so it's a very slight upgrade. It seems like, the first 2 days, 3 days, it was really good. And then it's kind of just, I don't know, just wearing off. It's not really as good as it can be. I know it's not because, most of my other phones got at least 2 bars in my office and other places around town. So yeah, my cellular connectivity here on Verizon has improved slightly, but it's not fully solved. And I'm hoping this is not a hardware issue with the iPhone XS Max, the iPhone XS, because the iPhone XR, when I had my SIM card in here, I never had any of these issues with Wi-Fi or LTE. So I'm really hoping that's not a hardware issue. I will continue to monitor that on my daily driver, my XS Max. Now, as far as the performance goes on iOS 12.1.2, it's pretty much the same as iOS 12.1.1. I have not noticed any difference at all in the performance. I mean, the animations sometimes feel a little bit smoother, but I do think that is just the placebo effect. I've heard other people say that as well. I don't think they're really any faster. Overall performance, going in and out of applications, playing applications, playing videos and pausing videos, all that good stuff is literally the exact same as 12.1.1. So if you're wanting a performance boost in this update, you're not going to get it. So if you are on 12.1.1 and you wanted a performance boost, you should just stay there because 12.1.2 doesn't really offer anything for you. Now, as far as the battery life, this is where things get even worse. So battery life has actually been worse for me on 12.1.2 than it was on pretty much any other version of iOS 12. So I'm going to show you my battery stats here on my daily driver, my XS Max, of course, which was running the beta since last week. And we go right here, you can see I'm averaging only about not even 5.5 hours, so about 5 hours and 20 minutes. Well, it's about 5.5 hours here of screen on and screen off combined time, which is lower than my average. If you go to my last 10 days, you can see I'm averaging about about close to 7 hours there. So my last 10 days, I'm averaging 5 hours and 27 minutes of screen on and 51 minutes of screen off. Last 24 hours, 4 hours and 50, and then 39 of screen on, or screen off, sorry. So you can see my battery life has definitely decreased with time here on 12.1.2, which is pretty unfortunate because, I mean, I don't see how anything in this update really could have, caused the battery to be worse than 12.1.1, but it's definitely been noticeable as well on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, since most of you guys do care about battery life quite a bit, I would say definitely do not upgrade to 12.1.2. If you're on 12.1.1, I would just stay there. Again, unless you live in Turkey and you've been having those issues with the eSIM, I would not bother upgrading to iOS 12.1.2. And the thing with updating your software on your device, even if there aren't any new features, is the fact that the new software could actually introduce new bugs for your device. So for that reason, that's why I say don't upgrade unless there's, features and bug fixes in there that are actually going to be beneficial to you, because otherwise you may end up with worse battery life, you may end up with new bugs, and I just don't want you guys to have to go through that. So yeah, the bottom line is I would not upgrade to iOS 12.1.2, simply put, because the battery life is worse, performance is the same, and cell connectivity is slightly improved. So if you are, really struggling with your cell connectivity, you could try out 12.1.2 and maybe downgrade if it's not, downgrade back to 12.1.1 if it's not what you expected and it's not better for you. But for everybody else, I would just say to avoid 12.1.2 and maybe wait for the next software version, maybe 12.3. But yeah, there you have it, guys. That is my review on iOS 12.1.2. I really did not expect to be making a negative review on 12.1.2. I mean, it did only go through one beta, was a very slight, very small upgrade. But yeah, pretty interesting results there. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the iOS 12.3 beta videos coming out probably soon. I don't know when 12.3 is going to drop, but it should be out pretty soon. But yeah, thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon.